uh, were of a very high caliber. That is, he was very much into, you know, whereas with me, I had already had my success with live action television. With Larry, he started out in cartoons. This was to him, it was his laughing, I guess. It was his big break, and he made the most of it. And he was very much, it was a perfect match for him. I was very ill suited in theory for him, but it turned out 20 years later, people, those who knew what I wrote, I was a hero to them.
Yeah.
And so He-Man had all kinds of levels of quality to it, even within the very limited budget the show was shot in, and the tight. We had to write basically about a script a week, pretty much. When I would finish writing an episode of He-Man or Fat Albert, I said, please, I just recovered from the other one, give me a break. But he really wanted me to keep writing. But Larry, you couldn't stop him from writing. His scripts are usually about 15 minutes too long, and he had to go back and cut stuff out. And Arthur was kind of funny that way. You turn in a script with Arthur, he says, well, why don't you also do this? Why don't you also do that? Then my scripts would start to get too long. So he said, well, we better go and cut. So it's back and forth. I put more stuff in because Arthur wanted more for the second draft. Then we have to take it all back out or something else out. It was amazing how Filmation, the facilities, from the writers to the storyboard artists to the animators to the people doing the ink and paint. We had ink and paint there. It was one of the last studios doing that, and we had some classic animators there. When I would finish writing a script, I'd go upstairs to the storyboard department and yak with them, and then I would go over to the animators. There was one guy that was an animator. He was from Walter Lantz, Woody Woodpecker days. I talked to him. Finally, Arthur would find me on the second floor. He said, "You're bothering them. Get back down here. Get on your next script." He was very funny about that. If you leave we actually had to fill out time cards. I never, as a writer or any job I ever had to fill out a time card, and I had to fill time cards out. If you left 5 minutes early, he explained to us, if everybody left 5 minutes early, that's stealing. They're paying you, 5 minutes. So I can't tell you how many times Arthur Nadell will be crossing the street, actually going to the bar. He was doing his little, I don't want to say cheating, but he basically said we were cheating the owners. So he would do a little bit of that, but he'd catch me walking across the crosswalk 5 minutes early. He was very much, he even filled out a time card. Even Arthur, who was in charge of, and the reason why is, while Filmation was not a union house, it was I shouldn't say that, it was union house, not for the writers, but for the voice actors and ink and paint. So there we were filling out time cards. Even Arthur Nadell, when he was directing, he used to be a director in his earlier days, when he would direct Bill Cosby for the sequences between the cartoons, he filled out a time card and said, director. I mean, I don't think any director in Hollywood ever filled out a time card, and he did. So we all filled out time cards in those days. And it was odd for me who was treated in my live action writing days as a lord. I mean, when I was writing on staff shows, we'd have people bringing in food for us to eat if we worked at the office, so we wouldn't be leaving, and we were treated. And here I was filling out time cards. So it was an interesting change in my being a writer. That was all the secretaries would. They wanted to be with me, let's just say, whereas on Filmation, we were all just working like dogs on that show. Whether you were a writer, whether you were the gopher, whether you were the secretary, it was a hard-working crew. And at the time, it was like, oh, God, I can't take it anymore. But years later, when we would have Filmation reunions, it was quite a family at Filmation. We all missed that those early days when we were all young and starting out, or in some cases at the end of their career, like if you were a Walter Lantz artist, So it was a place for everybody there. It was an interesting family at Filmation. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, and also, I mean, working under such pressure, it sounds like you guys
Yeah,
built a camaraderie that allowed you to push out such a quality product that even
it's amazing.
and
I mean,
yeah,
and
go ahead.
they had to get these shows finished on budget, on the right time, and it was amazing that it was like 50 episodes, or I think that's what it was when we were doing 5 days a week or something.
Yeah,
It was amazing what was accomplished.